Hi, my name is Sage, and this is my vision for the week. I am going to make a paper mache tree and some tree friends. So clay ghosty, a clay bat, a clay snake, some pumpkins, a tombstone, and it's going to be on a wooden base. So to turn this dream into a reality, I'm going to need some tinfoil and a wooden base. Then I'm going to take the tinfoil, fold it up hot dog style, before then scrunching it up. I then add some more tinfoil by scrunching it around the log-like shape, as this will be the tree trunk. Nothing has to be perfect, because in nature, nothing is perfect, and that's what makes it beautiful. Then I take a smaller piece of tinfoil and fold it up hot dog style to make a branch off the trunk. To attach it to the trunk, I wrap tinfoil around it and the branch before then doing this again on the other side. The reason why I wrap more tinfoil around the branch in the trunk instead of just gluing the branch on is because I wanted the tree to be thicker. And everything's better thicker. And speaking of thicker, I end up wrapping even more tinfoil around the bottom of the tree, because on this channel, we love round things. And here I end up wrapping tinier pieces of tinfoil around the thicker branches to make smaller stems, before then moving to the roots. And just like the smaller branches, I end up taking smaller pieces of tinfoil and folding and scrunching them up. I do glue the roots on and don't use tinfoil to attach them because it made more sense in my head to do so. I also add a little bit of extra tinfoil to the base of the trunk before then adding the final roots. And this is what it looks like once it's all glued together. And now I move on to the semi-flattening of the tinfoil. And to do that, I use a popsicle stick, so the future paper mache will lay a bit flatter. I also use some hot glue during this time, just for the smaller branches that need a little bit of extra love with adhering. The reason why I don't want the tinfoil too flattened is because I still want to retain a wooden texture, and with a bit more lumps and bumps, it'll definitely give wooden. And this is it semi-flattened. Now it's time for the paper mache. Pause if you want to read the recipe. And the reason why I end up using food coloring in my paper mache projects is just because it's easier to see on camera. But this week I also decided to use my noggin and decided to go with the green this time because I'm going for a wooden texture, and the opposite of green is red, so that means that they are complementary colors. So I'm hoping with the green undercoat, it'll enhance the umber brown paint that I put on top of it once it dries. To be honest, I can't believe I didn't think of that before. I usually use blue for the food coloring just because I like blue. But anyway, that was my thought process. And once all the paper mache is completely on the tree, I then set it aside and let it dry overnight. And this is the next day. I did let it sit for over 12 hours, and I did end up blow drying it just a teeny bit just to ensure everything underneath was dry. And now it's on to painting time. I do the first coat with an umber brown. I'm not too worried about getting in every nook and cranny, as I will be using 3 colors in total. The other 2 colors that I will use are buff titanium and sepia. And here I am using the buff titanium, and I'm just putting some highlights down so that I can build upon them later, before then going in with the sepia paint, and it gives kind of like a goldish tone, and I'm using it just to give the bark a bit more depth. And then I just carry on and continually swap between the 3 colors until eventually I get to this. And this is it completely dried on both sides, and then I paint the base from the beginning the same umber brown color. Then I use the Gorilla Glue, not sponsored, to attach the tree to the base, before then moving on to the moss. And you may be like, moss? And yes, moss! I'm hot gluing dollar store moss to the base of my project to really bring it to life, and I'm also only gluing it in between the roots to really show the contrast between the different textures. And this is it with everything glued on. And now it's time to make some tree friends. And the first tree friend that I'm gonna make is the ghost. And to start, I fold up the tinfoil hot dog style before then smushing it on the sides to make the base. Then I break off small pieces of tinfoil and make 2 little ovals to make the bases for the pumpkins. Next, I begin to add clay to the tinfoil ghosty, and I end up rolling the clay in my hands to make a little ball, and then I pinch the ends to make the little ghost wispies. Then I see if I like the size of the ghosty compared to the tree, and I do, so I move on to the pumpkins. To make a pumpkin, I put clay over top the tinfoil ball, roll it in my hands, and I get an oval shape. I then make a clay stem and place it to the side, before then using a popsicle stick to make the indents for the pumpkin ridges. I then repeat this process on the second pumpkin, and now there's 2. I then move on to making the bat. I get a small piece of clay, measure it against the tree for the body, and then roll a tiny head, before then making the ears and placing it down with the others. I then roll a little snaky snake and make 2 tiny eyeballs for the snake and the bat. So now that they have eyes, I can now move on to the tombstone. And for that, I just flatten a little piece of clay with my thumb. And then last but not least, I give my ghosty some eyes with my ball stylus. And this is what all the tree friends look like before they go in the oven. And this is them completely baked. And now since they're baked and cooled, I can now paint them. So now I'm painting the pumpkins a bright orange. And this is just the first layer, so I'm not too concerned with getting everything perfect. And I am dry brushing them with no water. And you may be asking why? I don't know, to be honest. It was just the vibe. Then I move on to painting the snake green, just because I like the color green, and that was enough reason for me. I then paint the bat brown, because I think brown bats are cute. I then go back to the pumpkins and paint the stems green, but I ended up not liking them, so I do end up going over them with brown again off screen. Next, I paint the ghost white, and I know that I will paint the ghost with a couple of layers, so I'm just slapping it on, not too worried about anything at this point. Next, I paint the tombstone a gray color, and then after that, I paint the eyes of the animals black off screen. And this is everything completely dried, and I did end up going over everything with a couple of layers. Oh, and I also added an RIP to the tombstone too. And now it's glue time. I used the Gorilla Glue to adhere the bat to the tree. Next, I put a dollop of Gorilla Glue on the tree where I want the snake to be, and then I press the snake in. And I also use the Gorilla Glue to adhere the ghost to the tree as well. And to adhere the pumpkins in the tombstone, I use hot glue. And that wraps up making everything. So thanks so much for watching. And here are the glamour shots.